Hello everyone, and welcome to the third event of KAIST 1. Today's event is about Zambia. Thank you very much for coming. So, I'm Osama. I'm one of the organizers for KAIST 1. By now you should have known who I am. I'd like to thank ISSS and Mr. Jungle Lee for their constant support for this event and the international community in general. And as you guys know, there's a Facebook event and we're promoting our page on Facebook, so there's a lottery for people who click that they're going to the event. I hope you guys join the lottery. So, I will announce the names of the 4 winners for the lottery for this event. And Mr. Sanjar Kerimbek, is he here? I think he'll be coming soon. Mr. Oljas Khadir Kunov, no. Amir Malik, no. Oh my God. Miss Anna Melissa Barsayo. Congratulations, Anna. So, I have a few remarks. Today, there will be, after the event, food, and as usual, please, when you leave the room, leave from the front door, and please do not use the chairs inside the coffee bean. You can sit outside, and as we always do. Today, also, I would like to welcome the Director of KAIST International Community Enhancement Program, Mr. James Morrison, to say a few words. Please.
Hi, I'm Jim Morrison. I'm the new director of the KAIST International Community Enhancement Program, and I'm really happy to see you all here. This is my second KAIST one, and I'm very happy to meet the ambassador from Zambia and also to hear his presentation. As you know, KAIST is very excited about globalization, and that's why you're here, that's why I'm here, and that's why we're having this talk today. So I'm very happy you all have come out to learn more about Zambia. Our guest today is going to be Ambassador Mumba Kapumba from Zambia, and we've had numerous students from Zambia who have graduated KAIST and gone back to Zambia, and they're I like to think of them as technological specialists, because they're from KAIST, of course. And unfortunately, we don't have a student as of today. They've graduated, but we look forward to having more in the future. And I hope you will enjoy the presentation from the ambassador.
So, as you guys all heard, today's event will be presented by the ambassador of Zambia himself, His Excellency Mr. Mumba Kapumba, and I thank him very much for honoring us today, and I will leave you with him.
Good evening, everyone. 안녕하세요. Okay. Believe you me, at some point in some long past, I used to be a student as well. Sometimes you reach a particular age and everybody assumes there's no way you could have gone to school. Especially if you reach a certain age and your hair doesn't look real. This is not a wig, it's my actual hair. So it shows that I've been around for quite a while. That's why the hair looks like this. But I used to be a student, I used to be at a college, and I also used to be like you. So I'll try to make the presentation as factual as possible, but then I prefer that you don't let me finish and then you try to remember the question you would have asked at slide number 4. So as I'm talking, if any one of you wishes to ask a question, just raise your hand and I'll let you ask. So that I want this to be conversational. I'm not giving you a lecture. I'm not a lecturer. I want to talk to you, and in return, to have a dialogue, there must be people talking. If I talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, now is that English? Talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and then no one says anything else, it means a monologue. I'll be talking to myself. And since you have come here for this KAIST, which is the number? Is it the third one, the fourth one? The fourth? Third. So let's make the third remarkable, outstanding, stunning, memorable by communicating with each other. Who agrees with me? Can I see you raising your hands if you agree? Okay, it's okay. Those who don't agree, you'll still be here anyway, because there'll be food at the end of the day. I decided to give the title of my presentation as warm, exciting, and beautiful. Because in fact, that's what my country is about. It's very warm in terms of the people that you meet, and also in terms of the climate itself. We are in Africa, as we shall see very soon, so it's warm. Exciting. What does the word exciting mean? What does it mean to you? What's exciting? What does exciting mean?
Something made me feel happy.
Something that makes you feel happy. Yes. Something that turns you on. And I'm using the word in a proper way. Don't go around saying the ambassador was telling us about turning on. I'm talking about something that peps you, something that makes you want to do certain things joyfully. So that is exciting. Beautiful. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Who said that? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Who said that?
I'm not too sure, but it's something well heard, right?
Who said that?
Someone smart?
Well, he had to be very smart. Beauty, who knows that expression? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Who said that? You have remembered now.
No, I know it, but I don't remember who.
Can anybody say, who remembers that expression? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Google it.
Oh yeah, that's the trouble. Google it. Everybody Googles. You have to begin to remember certain things. Otherwise, one day somebody says, what's your name? My name? Yes, your name. Let me Google. Okay, that's your assignment. You have to tell us before the end of the day who said that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But Zambia is a beautiful country, both in terms of the natural resources that we have, and we shall see quite a bit of it. So, hence the title, warm, exciting, and beautiful. It describes my country. That is the shopping list of the things that we will be discussing tonight. The fact file on Zambia, the culture, the economy, talk a little bit about mining, trade and industry, agriculture, and then end up with tourism, so that some of you may end up going there as tourists. Where is Zambia located? Zambia is part of the Southern African sub-region. Because, as you could see, the red thing there, that's where Zambia is. The rest of this is the continent of Africa. We have 8 neighbors we share borders with 8 other African countries. And as you could see, therefore, we don't have a sea. In Korea, the sea surrounds you. We don't have a sea. So we are land-linked. If the geography teachers taught you that a country like Zambia is landlocked, that's the language before computers. The new language now, we are land-linked, because although we are in the middle of Africa, with no access to the sea directly, we have friends and neighbors through whom we access the sea. So we are land-linked and not landlocked. The city, Lusaka, is the capital, and English is the official language. Official language simply means that schools use English to teach the children. When you go to parliament to speak, you use English. In the offices, English is used. But we have a huge number of our own African languages. 72? Yeah, we have 72 languages. In Korea, I've been trying to figure out how everyone just speaks Korean. Is that true that in Korea there's only one language? Not even dialects? That if you come from Busan, you can't really understand what the guy from Seoul is speaking? They have only one language? No dialects? They are dialects. Okay. At least you have made a move there, a discovery. So we shall write in the books, who discovered that Korea has more than one dialect? Mumbakapu. And I'll tell you why that is not true. Later on we shall reach a point about discovery. So we have English as the official language. In terms of governance, we have a unitary republic state with the president, and there is a separation of powers of the executive, that is the presidency, the ministers, the cabinet ministers, those who govern, and then the judiciary, that is the courts, those who make decisions if there's a problem and to take the matter to court and the court system. And then the legislature is the one which passes laws, laws which are then used to govern the country. So there are very distinct functions that those 3 arms of government have. Although, of course, as you know, the modern thought on governance is that there is a 4th estate. Which one is that? The 4th estate. Instead of just having those 3, that there is a 4th estate. Who can venture? Yes, sir.
The media.
The media. Give him a round of applause. Yes. In other words, besides those 3 which are written in your books, the 4th estate is the media. That although the media is not a governance arm, it's very, very important because of the information that the media has to convey to the public and so on. Population of Zambia, it's very small. Sometimes I even feel embarrassed when I mention it, but we are only 15 million people. How many people are in Korea? What's the population of Korea? 50 million, 50. You're saying 40. 10 have just died in the last 2 weeks. Because why it's embarrassing is that if you look at that other fact there, Korea, Zambia's area space, 752,641 square kilometers. Korea is 100,210 square kilometers. So Zambia is almost 7 times bigger. But when you look at the population, it's as if the Zambians, for some reason, the men are not producing. No, it's not the men who produces the babies. It's the mothers we need to catch up on you. Mineral resource, Zambia is the 10th, has got 10% of the world copper reserves. In other words, if you took the entire population of minerals, if we can call it that way, 10% of that, in terms of copper, is in Zambia. Tourism is a big thing. We are among the top 3 of the fastest growing tourism sectors in the world. And this has been mentioned by an organization called UNWTO. Who knows what that is? Yes, sir. Yes. United Nations World Tourism Organization, UNWTO. It's a very important organization there. Coat of arms. Can somebody tell me what you know about the Korean coat of arms? Just one item. Anyone who can say this item is on the Korean flag as a coat of arms. But you do know what a coat of arms is. Okay. This is KAIST. And KAIST are brilliant. Okay. Just look behind you by the entrance there. There's a door there. The gentleman is pointing at, you have seen that? That which has a red thing and a blue thing at the bottom, and then there are those 4 things on the side or under a white background. Now, does anyone here from Korea know anything, just one item there, what it means? Anybody? Any Korean? That is now a lesson you have to, that's the second assignment, you have to ensure that in the next few days, you must study the coat of arms. Well, the coat of arms is very important to any country. That is what describes, yes sir. You know something about the coat of arms of Korea?
I think the blue.
What does the blue stand for?
Negative cosmic forces.
Say them loudly again.
Negative cosmic forces.
Negative cosmic forces? Does anybody challenge that? Negative cosmic forces? Sounds negative. Actually, I don't know. I should have checked that myself before opening my mouth. I know about the Zambian coat of arms. Now, the Zambian coat of arms, if you see here at the bottom, it says one Zambia, one nation. That is the key, because it's a rallying call to say that all the various ethnic groupings, 72 of them with their individual languages, have to be brought together into one homogeneous collection of a state. So one Zambia, one nation means that even if there are so many languages, so many ethnic groups, sometimes the word tribe is used, they are all under one umbrella of the country called Zambia. So that's the most important thing there. And then when it comes to what this describes, the man and the woman represent the people of Zambia. And the natural resources, you could see there is a maize cob there. Maize is the main and staple food in the country. So there is maize there, there is grass there. You can see a little zebra is running around there. There should be another animal, I think. Perhaps that one. And then on the left side, next to the man's feet, it's a sign of copper mining and so on. We have minerals. And then you see the very rudimentary tools, the hoe and the pick. That's symbolizing somewhere there it says, mine shaft pickaxe, showing that we have to extract our natural resources, the mineral resources that we have, add value on them and sell to be able to earn money from there. And what you see, the waves there, represents the Victoria Falls. We'll talk about it later. It's the Victoria. How many of you have heard of the Victoria Falls? Okay. How many of you have heard of the Niagara Falls? Okay. Between the two, the Niagara Falls and the Victoria Falls, what is the widest falls? The Niagara Falls. What is the deepest falls in the world? Victoria Falls. Can you say Victoria Falls is the deepest falls in the world, and it is in Zambia. You will never forget it. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you very much. So that is what is there. Now, you may ask as to why the man is wearing shorts. I think when this was done, how many years ago? 1964, 52 years ago. That was quite popular then. People are trying to think whether we should change it to make him wear a pair of trousers. But I think we'll keep it for historical reasons, just the way it is. Independence, 24th of October 1964, from the United Kingdom. And the first president was this gentleman whose picture is there, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. He was our first president and remained in office for a fairly long time. I think 27 years, I think it was. 27 years, then things changed. So 64 independence, 24th October. Do you know which other big organization's birthday is 24th October as well? Do you know? Oh, you ought to know, because your former foreign minister is the Secretary General. The United Nations, ladies and gentlemen, the birth date is also 24th October. Now you know. Give yourself a round of applause for now knowing. So 24th of October 1964, Zambia's independence, and then we had the Maut Party from 64 to 71. Then, because we wanted to develop, and there was an argument that too many parties argue a lot, and therefore you don't achieve what you want to achieve. So we created, like most other African countries, a one-party state. And Dr. Kaunda was the president. The law said no other political party can be formed in the country. Only one. And that party was in power from 1972 to 1991. Then we changed back and reintroduced Maut Party politics. Now, currently, the Constitution says that every 5 years there should be elections and a government formed by the party which has the majority of by the head of a political party which won the elections. And we changed the Constitution again just a few months ago. Now the current Constitution is like picking a little bit from the United States. As you know, in the United States, and right now, those of you who are interested have seen there are elections in the US, isn't it? When are they voting? 8th November. The United States program is that you have a presidential candidate and a running mate. That's what we have introduced in Zambia as well. And the reason why we have done that is that previously, we chose the president, and then the president decided who the vice president was going to be. And if the vice president wasn't loyal enough to the president, he or she gets fired at a press conference. So we've now changed that. So there's now, the elections now, the constitution demands that the presidential candidate has a running mate. And the elections that we had on in August, just a few months ago, on the 11th of August, brought in the president, the current president, Edgar Lungu, with his running mate, who will be with him for the next 5 years. He cannot dismiss her because she was also elected on the same ticket. So that's what our constitution now allows. Korea has president for how long? You're not sure. 5 years. Not 4 years? It's actually 5. How many terms can the president in Korea stand? 1. We allow the president to stand for 2 terms only, for 5 years. We have a huge number of traditional ceremonies in the country. It brings in music and folk and contemporary art and crafts and basketry weaving. And then that last bullet point there says Zambia is a Christian nation. The constitution actually says so, that Zambia is a Christian nation. This was a declaration some time back when the second president was president, he passed on. Zambia is a Christian nation, but the constitution allows other people who have beliefs other than Christianity. They are allowed. So we have Muslims, we have Hindus, we actually have some Buddhists in there, and we have a couple of atheists that people don't believe in the existence of a supreme being. But essentially, it's a Christian nation. Our culture, food and beverage. The main staple food is maize pounded into powder, and you then produce a thick porridge, which is called nshima. It's a very simple arrangement. You have your nshima, and then you have either some meat or vegetable or fish, and that's it. You're done. The meal is ready. Now, this little thing here, it's a delicacy. It's called mopani worms because they sort of hang around the mopani trees. You know the butterfly. Before the butterfly becomes a butterfly, the little creeping things with many legs, that is that. And the ambassador standing in front of you enjoys them. Now, before you say, I can tell you quite a few things you eat here, which I can't even touch with a 1 meter pole. Grasshoppers, we eat them. Flying ants, those little brown things which fly all over during the rain season, we eat them. But different ethnic groups eat different things on there. Social. The national pastime is football. Now, most of you who are here are probably not old enough to have been around in 1988, but I'm sure you have seen the Olympic Stadium, isn't it? In that Olympic Stadium in 1988, the Zambian national team beat Italy. Give a round of applause to Zambia. And you know, we will never stop talking about that. In fact, I think, unfortunately, many of the football players who were in that team died in a subsequent accident several years later. There's only one guy still alive, and he contributed to the scoring of those 4 points, Kalusha Bwalia. Great guy. And then, of course, although it's more than 4 years ago, 2012, we won the Africa Cup of Nations. The Africa Cup of Nations is like Korea winning the Asian Cup. Has Korea ever won the Asian Cup? Long time ago. Okay, some of you may not even remember. Do you remember? Okay, check it out on Google. So Zambia won the Africa Cup of Nations and so on. Now, this particular statement there, that Zambia is ranked the most peaceful country in Africa. I was having discussions with one of my staff, she's not here, who put up this and mentioned an organization which actually ranked us. But I was saying, to mention that organization, we don't know whether it's in itself going to help, because you may have not heard of that organization. But that statement there remains true. Peaceful in the sense that when you come to Zambia, you won't be beaten up by anyone in the street. You move freely. You're free to take pictures. Many years ago, you could not take pictures of certain installations. Now, because we know that anyone who wants to know anything about Zambia, you can just Google. So we don't stop anyone from taking pictures of anything, anywhere. Even when you go to State House, you call it Blue House here, we call it State House. You can take pictures. You can take pictures of the president, you can take pictures of the hospital, the army barracks, you can even take pictures of the ambassador. It's a very peaceful country. We don't have, and fortunately, we have never had a civil war where one part of the country turns against the other. Of course, we do have a few thieves every so often. Even in Korea, thieves will always be there. But there is no war, and you are free to move around at any time of the day or night with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, and you can walk freely. Okay. The next statement, if you don't like it, and you are expected to write a report about this presentation, just ignore the next statement. When I said boyfriend, girlfriend, I meant that boy, girl makes a couple. Girl, boy makes a couple. The other one I don't know, so I'm not going to go into that detail. But you're very peaceful and you're all free in that country. Now the economy. The GDP, 21.02 billion US dollars, 2015. GDP growth, 3.2%. Exports, 8.1 billion, 2015. Imports, 9.1 billion. The kwacha to the dollar, unlike the Korean won, which is very strong, we are almost one-on-one with the US dollar. Just a little few cents difference. Unfortunately, the Zambian kwacha is 9.6 kwacha to $1, which means one kwacha is just a couple of cents. That's the latest. 44% of total employment created in the country is what is referred to as the public sector. The public sector meaning that in the institutions in which the government has a stake, the state-owned enterprises, SOEs, we don't have the chaibo. Is it chaibo? Is it the term chaibo? The Korean chaibo. Chaibo. In other words, family-owned companies like that, which we have here, Samsung, Lotte, and so on and so forth. And so we don't have the quarrels that the Sote brothers have been having in the last 1 year. But the private sector is there. So the larger part of the employment is self-employment and private sector. Zambia has been a mining country all along. 77% of our economy is dependent on mining. But we are growing now away from mining at a very fast rate of 6.7% average in terms of economic growth. And this has been so after the 1991 economic reforms which ushered in the multi-party political structures. Trade, 12.6 billion, we are number 83. That's not a very impressive number, because I'm sure Korea could probably be somewhere like the 11th in the world, if not lower than that figure. But in terms of our situation, that is quite impressive there. Ranked as the world's 106th largest importer is not exactly a statistic that is good, because we should export more than we are importing. But I'm giving you figures and statistics so that you actually know something about Zambia. And so far, I've noticed not even a single person has raised their hand to ask a question. Remember what I said, that I won't stop at the end and say any questions. You have to ask me as I'm talking now. You're about to ask me. Yes, sir?
Sorry?
Ask. I thought you didn't say I want to ask.
What kind of question can I ask?
Any question?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Saved by the bell.
Later.
Yes, sir.
So, copper mining has 77% of the economy. So, who does the mining? Is it the people of Zambia or foreign companies?
Extremely, very good question. Very undiplomatic question. Very tough question. And to tell you the truth, that is the embarrassment that every single Zambian, wherever you are, when you make a presentation like this, has to face. Because the simple answer is that there are very few Zambians actually mining our Zambian copper and minerals. In other words, the foreign elements, the people with the money who came in, that has continued from 64. So even when we own the mines as a government, it was decided politically that let's take over. So an announcement was made, we are taking over, and that's it, we took over. But the actual technology was, yes, we trained a lot of Zambians who are able to mine, and there are some fantastic mining engineers in Zambia who can do the job. But the actual ownership, the actual individuals who own the copper mines, those which mine copper from the ground, the majority are not Zambians. The mining companies, when it was owned by the government, ZCCM, Zambia Consolidated Copper Mines, ZCCM, some shares were sold on the stock exchange. Now that's my other life. I spent 10 years starting the stock market from zero to where it was. And we encourage Zambia, so some Zambians have shares in the copper mining companies. So therefore they do own part of those mining companies. But essentially, the mining companies are owned by foreigners, and it's not something that I could proudly say it's great. It's not. Because in fact, I meet friends every time wherever I am who would say that you have been independent from 1964. You mean you haven't been able to produce sufficient money in the hands of Zambians to actually begin running these companies? And the answer is simply that, unfortunately, not. We hope in the not too distant future we should be able to have a company that is wholly owned by Zambians. Zambians do own small companies which are especially mining the emeralds, the greenstone, and so on, and a few other, they call it what, non-precious? Semi-precious minerals. But the big copper mines are all owned by non-Zambians. Yes, sir. Question here.
I heard, like, from different African countries about what they call a local content policy, which encourages locals like nationals to go into business, and which gives undue advantage to nationals of a particular country. I would like to ask if Zambia has
such
a local content policy,
Yeah.
and if yes, I would like to be educated on which areas in the policy that encourage Zambians to partake in mining activities.
Yes, I think, give me a round of applause. That's a brilliant question. That's a fantastic question. Yes, we have always had such a policy to encourage Zambians to participate in the running of the economy of the country from way back. In fact, there was a time when certain businesses were only meant for Zambians. Bakeries, setting up of bakeries, transportation. Even today, you hardly find a foreigner, unless that person was originally a foreigner, but they're now Zambian, to run transportation, the buses, the taxis, they're all owned by Zambians. Agriculture, the farms, it's almost impossible to find a foreigner owning a farm. There are one or two here and there, but generally all the farms in Zambia are owned by Zambians. But when it comes to mining, the huge mining infrastructural money that is required is most of the times beyond an average Zambian to own. Because we have had copper for all the time we've been in Zambia, and copper is a finishing product. It's extractive. So as you dig out the copper, it means that 10 years later, the copper is there, but further down, so you need a bit more technical advanced equipment to bring out the ore from under the ground. So that means you need more money and more equipment, sophisticated equipment, and so on. And that's where the Zambians unfortunately fall short. But it's something that the Zambian government tries very hard to encourage, that more and more Zambians should actually be personally and directly involved in the extraction of these minerals out of the bottom. There are still a few Zambian business people trying to get together to be able to buy. And when we did the privatization program in the 90s for the government to divest itself out of a business, the idea was to get Zambians to move in. Now, very few indigenous Zambians had the money to move in. That's how some of these companies came in from outside the world to come and participate in the mining industry of the country. Trade with Korea. Very poor statistics. We need to improve. Zambia imported 55.5 million worth from Korea, consumer goods, machinery, electronics, and transportation, that's the vehicles. 55.5 million, whereas Korea imported only 6.7 million worth raw materials, stone, and glass. Those figures must change. We must find a way of balancing up. We need more business from Korea, bringing from Zambia, from Korean companies coming into Zambia to bring up these. I was talking about copper a lot. Cobalt is there as well. 10% of the world copper reserves are held in Zambia. Emeralds, amethyst, malachite, these are the same precious. You see that smiling girl there? She is a miner. Because the mining industry up to not too long ago was all male dominated. The young ladies didn't see the need to get into mining. Fortunately, in the last 20, 15 years, we have seen a very big surge of girls, Zambian girls, going into the business areas, into professions, into trades which were never really meant for girls a long time ago. So we have mining engineers, we have electrical engineers, we have pilots flying planes who are ladies, and it's wonderful to note that. Manufacturing sector takes 7% of the country's GDP. Main products, processing, beverages, tobacco, leather, and textiles. A lot of that is done by Zambian companies owned by the Zambian people themselves. Agriculture, this is what we're now trying to put up front. Because as we saw from the area space, Zambia is almost 7 times larger in terms of space and area than Korea. And we're trying to make use of that by creating an environment where we don't just produce maize, which is the main staple food, but all these others, wheat, soya bean, coffee, cotton, tobacco, and sugar. And we do export as at now sugar, coffee, groundnuts, rice, cotton, and horticultural products such as flowers and so on. So agriculture is being boosted up now. Tourism. What is tourism? What is tourism?
It's the moving of people in other countries.
The moving of people in other countries, is that correct? Okay, since you have said so strongly now, so tell us, what is tourism?
Well, that would mean people from another country traveling to another country to learn more about that other country or explore to gain more knowledge about that other country.
Well, both answers are correct. Give them a round of applause. Both answers are correct. Tourism comes from the word tour, to tour. So tourism is really, you are touring a country, because you don't have to be a foreigner to be a tourist. You can be a Korean touring Korea, you are a tourist. You are a domestic, the only difference that you'll be called a domestic tourist. Whereas the other one who comes from outside Korea will be called a foreign tourist. But tourism simply means touring, going to places that you have never been to. And I have a feeling there are some people here who have grown up in Seoul and they have never been to Busan. Okay, how many Koreans have been to Jeju Island? Raise your hands. Truth. Okay. How many have never been to Jeju Island? Koreans, yes, Koreans. How many Koreans have never been to Jeju Island? Okay, people other than Koreans, the rest of us, how many have never been to Jeju? Okay, how many have heard of Jeju Island? You must make sure you find a way of getting to Jeju before you leave Korea, if you actually live outside Korea. It's a beautiful place. I've been there. It's a beautiful place. And if your eating habits are not restrictive, if you can eat anything, including those things you saw up there, I would recommend Jeju black pork. it's the best in the world. Okay, so tourism is something that we have brought up to the front like agriculture, because we do have places to visit in Zambia. If you came to Zambia and you were to come for 2 weeks only, you'll be saying to yourself, why didn't I come for 6 months? Because there's just too much to see. Wildlife. We have 35% of the entire water resource in Southern Africa, 5 major rivers and lakes, 20 national parks, and 36 game management areas, over 470 bird species. For those who like to bird watch, and by bird watch I mean watching birds, real birds. Not the other birds, which I don't want to know about. So Zambia has natural resources that is in abundant supply. You see those little pictures on the side here. They show the various traditional ceremonies. Korea is very cultural, and I've been to several traditional functions and things here. Zambia has got them as well. Every single one of those 72 ethnic groups or tribes has a traditional ceremony. And the attire for the dancing, see that gentleman in the middle there. There is one there, Kuomboka, a big barge, a big huge boat for a chief who has to move every year from when it's rain season, he moves from the lower part of his kingdom to the upper part, and he goes in a barge. It is fantastic. You see these guys at the bottom here. These are similar to Shaka Zulu, the dancing with animal skin and nobukaris. And they do some really heavy feet stamping. So there's everything that one can see. And that question, why should you visit Zambia? Besides everything else, adventure, climatic condition, traditional, prime-time wilderness, and abundant wildlife, and then, of course, the Victoria Falls. We have a map there which shows the national parks. Any of that, those green spots, those are national parks. So therefore you can't go wrong. 2 weeks is just too short. 1 month is what I would recommend if you were to come to Zambia, so that you at least are able to get to 2 or 3 of those. And look at that. They're having dinner, and it's, I think that's sundown, and there's water in front there. These are masked cultural dancers. What is this? I can see a lot of water. This is water, and there are boats, swimming pool in the center. This must be one of those specifically created for people to enjoy, I think, over a weekend. Look at that. You see the big guy in the center there? What is that? Yes, well, many, many huge elephants, and they are crossing the river, and there is a moon coming up there. Bungee jumping. Have you ever heard of that? This is where you go to a very high place, and then they strap you, and then you let go and fly into the sky, and you feel the adrenaline just surging up in your system. I've never done it. But I've seen people do it and how they feel excited about it. Especially I recommend it for anybody less than my age. because I think at my age, you go up there, you may be a little uncomfortable. I'm not sure whether they would even allow me. There is a movie, there's a group of stars, Korean stars, who went to Zambia, and they showed it here. Which channel again? Which one? Just say it last one they could hear. Yes, they went to Zambia and they were seen. There were, I think, 4 of them. 3 of them went on the jump. The 4th guy said, "This, me, never." He never took part, but it's fantastic. You must watch that if you haven't watched it yet. Google it, because it tells you everything about what they discovered in Zambia. Now, this guy, dressed like he is in what looks like a huge blue skirt with trimlings of red and white, and in one hand a sword and an axe. That is the king of the part of Zambia where I come from. He is doing what we refer to as Umutomboko, which is it's really a celebration of the various other people they found who they conquered when they came to Zambia from Congo, DRC. So that is they hold the Umutomboko ceremony every once a year. Now that is the Victoria Falls, part of the Victoria Falls from the air, and you see the rainbow. There's always a rainbow, and there is parts of as you go to the Victoria Falls, the rainforest where there is water, rain 24/7. Yes, sir.
My question is like, what time of the year would someone enjoy the best of tourism from Zambia, taking cognizance of the weather condition?
Fortunately, unlike Korea, Zambia never gets too hot. Fortunately, unlike Korea, Zambia never gets too cold. When we say in Zambia that it's too cold, 15 degrees. That's cold. Oh, it's hot. That is 29, 30. So in terms of weather conditions, it's any time. The beauty about Zambia is that we are on a very high plateau, which means that even when it's hot, let's say it's over 30, 34, 35 in the sunshine, you move from the sunshine and you get into the shade. There's a tree here, there's a shade, or the shade of a house or wherever. As long as you have moved from the sunshine into the shade, it's cool here in the shade. It's hot there because we are not near a sea, so it's not humid. You don't get sweaty where you feel uncomfortable and your face is all over sweating. No. The only thing that creates a problem sometimes is the rain. Because you need a lot of rain for you to enjoy the Victoria Falls. Because the Zambezi River brings all the waters from the various other tributaries within the country and then pours it into this huge thing which we said earlier, the deepest falls in the world is the Victoria Falls. And there are times when whoever is in charge of rain up there decides not to give us that much rain. We have a drought. And then that period, the Victoria Falls becomes the Victoria Rocks. Because you see too much of rock rather than water. But that comes once in a while, perhaps every 4 years there's a problem. And unfortunately, it's not a problem we can resolve. We haven't got enough water stored somewhere which we could push into the Victoria Falls. We depend on rain and natural movement of waters. But otherwise, in terms of climate conditions, it's right through the year you can be able to go to Zambia and enjoy yourself, whether it's hot or cold, because there are no extremes in our temperatures around Zambia. There is a question here. Yes, sir.
My name is Francis from Kenya.
Mm.
My question.
Habari gani?
Nzuri sana.
Asante.
My question is on poaching.
That is why I've just rooted him in.
My question is on poaching, Africa poaching program, and I understand that Zambia at one time, the government usually opened gateway for the tourists to come and do the gaming, shooting animals and all that. What is the stand for the Zambian government on Africa anti-poaching program?
Give him a round of applause. This is a very good question. It's an extremely important question because all those things I was showing you could be taken away from Zambia and other African countries because of poaching. Poaching means illegal killing of animals. The government used to give licenses to curb the numbers of certain animals which are not endangered every so often. But deliberate killing of the big five, the elephants, the rhinos, the lion, the leopards, the buffaloes is no longer in fact encouraged because a fellow would come from the States and has bought a license and he'll kill the elephant, he kills it and he walks away. And the thing just rots there because he has taken pictures of him killing it, which he goes to make money showing in bars and nightclubs and things. So there are very strict laws and regulations now, and what the government is now encouraging is shooting by camera. You take pictures as opposed to shooting to kill. Poaching is illegal. The poachers, because they are illegal fellows, they would find a way of going around to kill animals, especially like your country, Kenya, and Zambia, the issue of ivory, the tusks from the elephants. That makes huge money in making bangles for ladies around the world. Huge money. The killing of crocodiles to get crocodile skin. But that now, the answer has been that there are a lot of crocodile farms which are being created. We even have them in Zambia so that somebody farms, like you farm cattle to provide meat for those who eat beef or pork, pigs, pork, and so on and so forth. So there are some crocodile farms where they're growing crocodile specifically for the skin. But I'm sure you have also heard that around the world now, many organizations are up in arms against killing of any animal of any sort to produce ornaments on the body, shoes, crocodile shoes, and so on and so forth. So to go against the killings, many of the manufacturers are producing imitations, rubber imitations, which will look like a crocodile skin, but in fact it's not crocodile skin, and so on. So the government policy is anti-poaching, and we have an actual very strong, very active game guard system where people go in the bush at particular times of the night and so on, and if they arrest a poacher, they sentence them to a very long jail terms. In Zambia, when you commit an offense, you are presumed to be innocent until found guilty, except in the case of poaching, when they find you with an elephant, with this, any of those things, with elephant tusks and so on, they usually publish pictures on social media. Even if you haven't gone to court yet, they'll publish. In fact, just the last few days I've seen where somebody even clipped that even the women now are going into poaching because there are four poachers with a woman among them, and they were pointing to elephant tusks. Again, the same wastefulness where they kill an elephant, they take away the tusks, and they leave the thing to just rot, and so on. So it's a very strong program that the government is involved in. The reason is very simple. We want the wildlife to be there, to be enjoyed by us who are here today, but our grandchildren as well, to come and we don't want somebody to come to Korea 30 years from today and to simply say, oh, we used to have the following animals, but they are no longer there because they have been killed by the poachers. We don't want that. Now, what can I say about this? I think this was put there just to entice the boys to go to Zambia. Thank you very much. Kamsahamnida. And that ends the presentation on Zambia. But yes, I'd said I won't ask for any questions at the end. But just in case there's someone with a burning question in your chest and you have to ask it, this is the time. Anybody with a question in your chest which you don't want to suffocate you and you want to raise it now, this is the time. And once I count once, twice, 3 times. That's it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, Kamsahamnida. And because now we have an embassy in Seoul, you can come and get a visa and they'll give it to you in no time at all. Let me introduce colleagues who have come with me from the Zambian embassy in Seoul. That is Faith. She's the Minister Chancellor or Deputy Ambassador. The gentleman here, Elias, is the Press Secretary in charge of administration. And the last gentleman here is Abiud, he's Press Secretary Political, and he is the one in charge of issuing visas to go to Zambia. And then the young lady here, she is Korean. She makes life easy for me. She's not only the interpreter, the official interpreter, but she's also the liaison officer, the person who makes sure that all our programs move quite well. Song Ho. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, very much for this presentation. It was fun for me, and it was the most interactive yet, I think. So, with that, we are closing the final event. Please, you can leave from this door. Thank you very much.